The Salem Witch trials began in the spring of 1692 in colonial Massachusetts. During the time of the witch trials, many practicing Christians had a strong belief in the devil, and there was also diseases that mimicked epilepsy and mental illness. People in Salem began searching for answers, which led to the trials that were mainly of women. It all started with 9-year-old Betty Paris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams. They became sick and were overcome by uncontrollable fits. A doctor, William, examined them. His diagnosis was bewitchment because they failed to get better. Women, men, and even sometimes dogs were accused of practicing witchcraft, but more than half of the convicted were women rather than men for being witches. A special court was devoted to hearing the cases of witches in Salem. The first convicted witch was Bridget Bishop, who was said to have been wearing all black costumes, which was not allowed in the Puritan community. She was hung at the top of the gallows hill on June 10, 1692. In the weeks following, another 150 would be accused. 18 more would be hung, and many more would die in prison. One man was even covered in rocks and was told to confess to witchcraft, and the rocks would be taken off of him. When he did not confess, rocks were added. Several times they would ask if he was ready to confess, and each time he would refuse, and they would add more rocks, eventually suffocating him to death. This method was often used for confession, and most people would confess in fear of dying, which led to confessions that weren't true. But the townspeople got what they wanted. Since people confessed to being witches, they were positive that they existed and there had to be more. By September 1692, the hysteria died down, and people started to turn against witch trials because many people had lost friends and family due to it. It also ended because many people began to believe some of the convicted people were actually innocent. The last witch trial ended in early 1693. Today, Salem is home to some that believe to be derived from witches.
Okay, what is your name?
My name is Mary Pickett.
And what is your occupation?
I am an instructor at Fresno State. I'm also a full-time graduate student.
All right. Do you know what the Salem Witch Trials is?
I'm familiar a little bit. I know that it was basically a witch hunt due to paranoia in I guess like the small town of Salem at the time in like the late 1600s, I want to say. I don't think there was any like hardcore evidence of actual witchcraft. It was more of like due to the paranoia and the hysteria and not knowing about illnesses at the time or how medicines worked at the time. It was basically like a big frenzy that added up to killing hundreds of innocent people.